So just be relaxed, attentive but relaxed. And let's see if we can recognize something together. That's true for all of us. For a moment, just know that you're here. Very simple. I don't mean on the call. I don't mean the body. I just mean this pure knowing being. Whatever the day has brought so far, no problem. Just for a moment, just be here purely open knowing. Instead of attending to anything in particular, like thoughts or sensations or anything, any objects at all, instead of attending to any objects at all, attend to the pure subject, I. No name, no form, no history, no religion, no country, no gender, just simply being I. In our normal condition is very contracted, limited to the object, mostly the object of self, the object of me, my thoughts, my mind, my emotions, my story, what's going on in my world. It's a very contracted and limited experience of yourself. So now for a moment, let's have a much more blown wide open, unlimited knowing that includes everything equally. All the objects of your room are included here equally. The sensations of the body are included here equally. Sounds, everything, all included here. In the blown wide open, pure being of who you actually are. From this very natural condition, this unlimited natural condition of pure being, there's an automatic contraction to ego, self, me, limitation. Completely normal, nothing wrong with it, just to see. And when that contraction happens, an entire world is created. The world of self, my story, my world. And that world is very convincing. It feels very personal. So for a moment, and again, nothing wrong with that movement. I don't demonize that movement. I'm not trying to kill it or get rid of it, just to see something different. So I say for a moment, don't attend to any of that. Simply attend to pure being, knowing, here and now, I am. Just like the Bible says, be still. What does that mean? It means don't attend to anything in particular. Don't follow along with what the mind is saying. For a moment, be still, blown wide open, knowing, and know I am. Everything that appears in your body and mind, again, I say again, nothing wrong with any of it, but anything that appears in the body and mind is ephemeral. It's coming and going. Nothing in the body mind remains. In the course of your life, how many billions of sensations, thoughts, emotions, ideas, sensory objects have come and gone? And where are any of them now? They are not. But what is? I, pure knowing being. And at any moment of your entire life, if had you looked, you would have noticed exactly the same thing. I am here, pure knowing being, always. And yet, we're fooled and we agree to be very contracted and limited. And we then believe that that's who we are. A very exclusive, separated, contracted entity. And so we go through life in that way, contracted and suffering. And yet available at any moment is this pure being knowing, blown wide open, who I am, who I've always been, always here, never not here, always free, never not free. And then it's just simply a habit. The alluring sirens of mind call us, and we, by habit, go right along with it. No problem. I don't see anything as a problem. But because of that, we think there's something wrong with us. And so we seek. And we try to fix everything in there. And we try to correct everything. And we judge everything. And we think there's something wrong with us. Because until we come to know something different, who we are, who we believe we are, is basically a mess. Let's face it. A lifetime of mental impressions, good experiences, bad experiences, opinions, beliefs, traumas, a lifetime of that. When we fall for those sirens, we find out that we're a mess. And so we try to fix ourselves or seek for some ultimate state of purification. And so the spiritual path is mostly a path of purification of the mind. Unfortunately, we find out that that's not going to happen. But the funny thing is, we've been overlooking something. Right now, blown wide open, knowing no past, no future, no beliefs, no good experiences, no bad experiences, even no trauma. Blown wide open here and now, we see something else. I'm already pure. The way to be free, the way of awakening, or whatever term you might use, or liberation, is not to fix everything inside there, but it's to turn attention to recognize something that is already free and always has been, who we are. So I say, for a moment, no pressure, for a moment, be no thing, simply pure being, knowing. This pure being knowing is an explosion. It's the end of your world. It's an atom bomb. It blows up everything in the moment of recognition. So the means of coming to know freedom or liberation or enlightenment or awakening that I share is not about getting in there again, psychologically or spiritually or anything like that, philosophically, but by turning attention to that which is already awake, you, that which is already free, you, that which is already liberated and enlightened, you. So let's just be here for a moment together. In mind and body, we're all completely different, aren't we? We can't really, in any real way, meet. But in pure being knowing that has no name, no form, no history, this is where we're all the same. No higher, no lower, no guru, no devotee. Simply pure being. It's true for everyone. But mostly we don't notice. Why? Because we haven't been shown and we haven't been ready to recognize this. But now we are ready to recognize it, and that's why we're here together. And as I often say, because we've all been on spiritual paths, some for many years, 10 years, 5 years, 30 years, 40 years, we've been on a spiritual path, a movement towards something, and that movement towards something, whatever we think it is a movement away from truth. The spiritual path is not a movement towards truth, it's a movement away from truth. Because truth is already here. It's not in the future. You don't need to practice to be who you are. You don't need to meditate to be who you are. You don't need to do sadhana to be who you are. You are who you are. Just notice, just notice, just notice. And when the sirens of mind come in and say, well, but, and then you, for a moment, you go, yes, siren, no problem. Once you notice that movement, no problem. In the moment of noticing, once again, nothing. No judgment, no self-flagellation, no I'm failing, no I'm not good enough. All of those movements of mind, no problem. They're just habits programmed in the mind by culture and ignorance. I'm not good enough. I'll never get this. I'm not enlightened. Just thought, just programmed ignorance, no problem. You notice that movement, those sirens calling you, no problem. And once again, the sun is shining, the sun of being, the sun of pure being, the brightest light in the world. Brighter than the sun. Even the sun is a devotee of this, of you. Because even the sun appears in you. Very good. We just finished an intensive last night. Be another one in a few months. Welcome all the intensive people who were forbidden the last 2 months to come here. I have to find you now. Hello, Martin.
Hello, Sal. How are you? Good to see you.
I'm good.
Sal, I just want to ask you about something that I touched on before. I've tried to work it out myself as best I could, and now I'd just like to hear what you have to say. In your book, Liberation Is, you describe the subconscious as Freudian nonsense. So I want to leave out the word Freudian, but why do you describe it as nonsense?
Because if you read my book or come here, you want to come to know freedom. And if you want to come to know freedom, then you're no longer a victim of your conscious or your unconscious or your subconscious or your superconscious. A free person isn't a victim. If you continue to admit that there's a subconscious, then you continue to be bound.
Okay, I'm not admitting, Sal, that there is such a thing as subconscious. I don't know what it is. I don't know what people are talking about when they refer to subconscious, and I would like to know. But what I would like to know is it a real thing or not? I would like to know, am I believing a belief that is not true?
So I'm kind of cut and dry about what is mind and what is not mind. Okay. And so I would put subconscious at the level of mind. Of course, you could say there's a subconscious and a superconscious or whatever. But so when we see this no thing, which is pure being knowing, which I also sometimes call empty mind, no mind, empty mind. I say this is where you recognize freedom. And I say anything other than this no thing. I say anything other than this no thing. Anything other than this no thing is mind. So then conscious mind, subconscious mind, I don't care. If we go into psychology, we can deal with all of that. But we're not here to go into psychology. We're here to see, I don't like this word, but I can't think of a better one, beyond or prior to mind, what is. Before mind, then there's no subconscious, there's no regular conscious, there's only pure being, knowing. You see? Did I actually use the word nonsense in the book? I don't remember, it's a long time ago.
Yeah, you did. Yeah. Yeah,
I'm a
it's
bad guy.
it's the only thing that I immediately questioned, you know. Everything else I accepted, and this I saw a wall. I said, "What the fuck is?"
It's not nonsense for someone who's still examining their mind and trying to fix the mind and doing shadow work and all that stuff. It's all fine. That this stuff is important and necessary. Things like shadow work, that's all great. I don't know. It's all fine. But when you get to the point when you've realized that ultimately it's not leading you to liberation, and you're ready to hear the very simple message of freedom, then you have to admit that I am no thing and there is no subconscious either. That's why I speak like that in the book, because I want, the work of freedom is audacious, man. You have to be bold to be free. You have to be a rebel to be free. A rebel of what? Even subconscious mind.
Well, I have to throw this in, Sal.
Whatever you want, Mark.
For a long time, I couldn't figure out. I could not figure it out what you were talking about when I would hear you say. Just let me think, Sal. I would hear you say, "Nothing ever happened." And I could not get my head around that much. I tried real hard, believe you me. Nothing ever happened. I said, "Oh, geez, oh God, yeah." And then one day on a call, I heard you say something like, would say, this is not an exact quote, but it's near to what you said. It's what you meant. Knowing has no history.
You have no history.
I have no history. And
who are
immediately, immediately I understood what you meant by nothing ever happened.
Excellent.
So the clarity has come again. Now,
Good.
this is just something that was bugging me.
It's a hard one to get your head around.
Yeah, I needed an answer, you know, to this business about subconscious, because I hear so many people talking about it, and I was thinking, Jesus Christ, this guy Freud, he's a world expert, and Sal is calling this stuff nonsense. So, Jesus God, you know, I was thinking, I can't get my head around that. It seemed like sacrilege to me. But I thought about it as best I could during the time.
Freud was not awake. He wasn't an awake and enlightened whatever person. He was a psychological person. He was completely contracted at the level of mind, which almost everyone is, and so he investigated the workings of mind. And I'm not denying what he discovered is the level of the workings of mind. That's all perfectly fine. But as I said before, if a moment comes in your life when you are ready and willing and able to know freedom, then it's a completely different paradigm, you see. Then that whole paradigm has to be put to the side to recognize no thing, in which, as I only say in a particular context like this, nothing ever happened.
Yeah, Sal. Well, your answer has clarified it for me, and I'm happy, and thank you very much. I appreciate it.
You're welcome, Martin. Good to see you always.
Thank you.
I don't just say something like that cavalierly or flippantly, but whenever I say something like that, I know I only say it in a context where it can have some impact, like in the conversation we just had.
Yeah, I get that.
Otherwise, people run around saying that kind of like this platitude, nothing ever happened, nothing ever happened, nothing ever happened, but without really getting what that actually means. So I say it in a context of be here now, no thing, And, there's no past, is there? There's only this moment, isn't there, in truth? If you would want to admit a past, you have to look in the mechanics of mind to find something called a past. And that's not actually true. In truth, there's only this, isn't there? In truth, in actuality, there is no past. There's only this. All there is this. And if all there is this, then I can say in the moment of that recognition that nothing ever happened. There's only this. So I need to say something like that in a context like that. If you want to know freedom, and I don't say never go back into the mind and all of that stuff. Well, fine, but when you want to know freedom, I say for a moment, notice something. Here and now I only am now. I'm not in the past. I'm not in the future. I am now. Therefore, I have no history. Who are you? If you want to know freedom, then that's a recognition that needs to be seen. Thanks, Martin.
Thanks, Sal. Thank you.
Yes, Len, what Jesus said before Abraham was I am. Did he mean Jesus, was before Abraham? No. This, who I am, being, knowing, is here present with everyone always. And before Abraham could say, I am Abraham, he had to know I am. Before you could say your name, you were blown wide open coming out of the womb, pure I. Your name came after. So before Abraham was, I am. It's I that is eternal. My name and form is not. And I don't deny my name and form either. If you ask me, who am I in a normal conversation, I'm Salvadore, I'm a musician, I'm from New Jersey, I live in India, I speak normal. Then I'm referring to this body-mind. But my essential knowing is I am no thing, no history. But before Salvador was, I am. Before Salvador appears at any moment, I am. Sometimes when we have very clear recognition like this, it's hard to come up with a question, isn't it? That's fine. Hi, Bob.
Hi, Sal. I can always come up with a question. So
Yes, I know, Bob, but that's fun. Always good.
no, I really, it's not really a question. It's I've noticed that the recognition is sometimes clearer for me. Having a holiday is sometimes a little easier if I sort of look up, like sort of look up at the sky. Then I somehow it feels blown wide open. It doesn't have to be true. So is that a problem? I mean, it's
Huge problem.
yeah,
Huge.
it's
Failing miserably.
years of therapy for that one.
Yeah. What about right now, looking at this computer? Do you know that you are blown wide open?
Yes,
Isn't everything else also included here with the computer?
yes,
If you peripheral vision, sounds, sensations,
yeah,
everything is included. You know that you are blown wide open, right?
yes,
Yeah. So you don't need to look at the sky. So it could be good for you to actually pick up something like this, very close, and look at it, and then just say, oh, yes, I'm looking at this, I'm looking at this, and then just turn attention to the fact that you are, I am. Now the predominant fundamental knowing is I, in which this and everything else is included.
I see that.
Yeah, I know you do.
Hey,
We did it.
another thing that's not really a question, but you just reminded me of it. So you kind of talk about the real meditation being just what you said. You in your life, you're living, you're, for example, looking at your hand, and I know I am, and I see that. Could you just comment on sort of like the difference? I know there is no difference between like having a holiday and sort of meditation in life, the true meditation.
That's the same thing. They're exactly the same thing. I say a holiday. I didn't use the word yet today, so for new people, what we did for the first 25 minutes, I call a holiday, blown wide open, knowing I am, pure subject I, no past, no future, simply here and now being. That's a holiday. It's a break from your world. So that is meditation. There's no difference. Use the word meditation. I call it something different than meditation because we have many ideas, other ideas of what meditation is. But I say this is the true meditation. I'm meditating right now. As the words are coming out of my mouth, as this object is passing before my eyes, as I'm talking to you, Bob, as this microphone is here, everything is here, the sensations of the body. But the fundamental thing, the most obvious thing, fact is I am, I know, pure being. That's meditation. And that's not the meditation that's leading anywhere, trying to silence the mind or get some bliss or get liberated in the future. That's the meditation that's already free now. It's the end. So that's why I call this the true meditation.
Thanks, Al. I see that very clearly.
I know you do, Bob. Great. It's been good having you on the intensive. You're doing great, man.
Thanks.
Everybody on the intensive is doing great. It's nice to see.
Well, I guess the question is this whole appearance. Like there can be knowing about that. You can never become enlightened or anything like that, or awakened, because that liberation already is. But there's something about this appearance, this where you can know about this energy and how that works, and
Know how the appearance works? Have you found out how the appearance works?
No, but I would like to.
Let me know when you find out.
Uh-huh.
You're not the first person in history who's wanted to know that.
Right.
It would be in the books by now, wouldn't it?
Yes.
If there was an answer to that, wouldn't it already be in the books?
Yes.
Unless you or I are the greatest thinkers that ever lived so far. Maybe we're the ones that are going to figure it out.
Yeah, I doubt that.
Speaking for myself, I doubt that.
Yeah, but so it is a mystery that cannot be figured out, how this appearance, that's
But
real and unreal.
it goes back. It goes back to the initial question: who needs to or wants to know that?
Yeah, there is no one there really that can,
Well, there is something there that wants to know that, and that's the
yeah,
mind. That's the
that's mine.
ego. Ego. No, I don't denigrate ego, as you know. I just look at the fact. Pure
Yeah.
being knowing doesn't care about any of that. It simply is. When you have a holiday, you simply are. So if then the question comes, well, how did this moment come about? You see that movement?
Mhm.
It's only
Yeah.
the person, the ego, that wants to know that. And so then the ego will go on a big lifelong journey of trying to figure that out, and it won't come to an answer. And then the answer is blown wide open, no thing, no answer, no longer the one that needs to have that answer. So the answer is not an answer to that question, because as I said, much smarter people than you or I, much more brilliant philosophers than you or I throughout history have tried to find that answer, and they haven't. So the answer to the question is when the one who needs the answer is gone, and the answer is you. No longer that need being there.
Yeah.
That's how I see it.
Hmm. Yeah. When you're blown wide open, there's no knowing as such. Yeah. No need to know. I get that. I guess I think it's because this appearance, it seems like, wow, what if somehow this appearance could be all peace and love, if there's like, if the riddle could be solved and it could all be peace and love forever,
Who has that
even though there's
question?
no
Who
time.
has that? Who has that need and question and desire for all peace and love?
Well, that's again the mind, the yeah.
And again, I don't denigrate that. I just want to see what is. That's all. That's all I say. See what has the
Mhm.
question, and then see what's already the answer to that question is you. Then that question goes, and then that ego that needs that ego that is the question goes.
Yeah. So yeah, so in a way you could say this person here, for example, me or you, we could like, oh yeah, we want peace and love in the world, and you can pursue that in the world of knowing, in the world of the appearance, like
Yes, of
just
course.
like a
Yes.
doctor can go into surgery and then you
Yes.
can figure out, okay, how can we make peace in the world? But that's all within the energy, the information, the mind and all that, which is the appearance. And so you just kind of play along with that, I guess, and you can see if you can find answers in that. But
The difference is when you know freedom, if you don't know freedom and you think that's the only paradigm you have or are is the mind, you're going to suffer your whole life suffering the answer. I need the answer. I need the answer. I got to find the answer. But when you know freedom, then there's that's more like a little bit of a play, maybe. That's all. But it's not going to take you down the rabbit hole of suffering, and because you don't no longer need to have an answer to that question. So
right.
there's a difference, because I don't deny anything in form. I don't deny anything in mind either. It's all fine. But when you know freedom, then that becomes more like a play than an incessant driving force of need that has to be resolved.
Yeah.
Which is the state of most of humanity, isn't it? In one way or another.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, it's not like you're seeking to become free or enlightened or awakened, because you already are, but you can
Yeah.
still seek. I mean, I guess it's not seeking. You can still put effort and
But
energy.
anyway, even if you found the answer to why this moment or how this moment comes, what's that going to do for you? That's good. You may, it's a subtle thing, what I'm about to say, and you may not realize it, but there's still the idea that somehow if I get that answer, and then I can come to rest.
Yeah.
How about coming to rest without that answer?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I am kind of, it seems like that is kind of happening, but there's something about this no meaning and purpose, where wow, it's just like, I don't know, there's something about it where depression happens or something. For me, in my case, it's like, what am I going to do this? Something happens there. I don't know what it is, but it's just.
Who was bothered by the fact that there's no meaning or purpose?
It's again the mind,
Yeah. Who needs to have meaning and purpose? Again, it's mind that needs to have, that feels that it needs to have meaning and purpose, isn't it? So who can get depressed by not having any meaning or purpose? It's only mind. All of that's mind. Again, I don't denigrate it, but I say, who doesn't need any meaning or purpose? This moment blown wide open here and now, no past, no future, simply being, pure being. Is there any meaning to this moment?
No.
Who would impose a meaning on this moment?
The person.
Mind, exactly. But if that is not attended to for a moment and blown wide open, no mind, pure empty mind, what meaning? Meaning? Hello? But is it not depressing? I think it's a celebration myself. To me, no meaning is a celebration of freedom.
Yeah.
Freedom from the need to have a meaning. What I need to have a meaning for? Why can't I just be?
Yeah. Yeah, no, it's almost like it's almost like the meaning and the purpose gives you energy to, in daily life. It's like it's an energizer, and without that, there's no energy. It's just like.
Yeah, I can understand that. But you know what? I'm writing a new book. I'm building a house. I'm doing my intensives. I do these open meetings. I'm going to be making a new album soon when my house is finished. I'm writing songs. I'm playing concerts. I don't need any fucking meaning to do all that stuff. And that's a lot. Seems like a lot. I don't feel like I do anything, honestly. And I mean that seriously. I don't know how all that stuff gets done, but it does. And I don't feel it has any meaning. I just do what you've heard me say before. I just do what's in front of me. What appears to do, I do. Doesn't mean anything. Doesn't justify myself as an existence or anything like that. I don't need a meaning or a purpose to be. You see, I'm nothing. I don't need any meaning or purpose. And it just so happens that intentions and interests and creations appear, and then, okay, the body does it. No problem. It's all good. No meaning, no purpose. That's how it is for me. I just speak for myself,
Yeah. It's what's in front of you, and you naturally just kind of follow your joy, I guess, what you like, also in that process.
I just do what is in front of me and what I guess what you could say I want to do, And of course I have to do things I don't want to do also, Indian bureaucracy and all this kind of stuff, whatever, banking stuff and visa stuff. I don't want to do that stuff. I do what's in front of me to be done. That's it. No meaning to any of it.
Mm-mm. Yeah, and then I guess it seems very intense somehow. Like emotions and stuff are very intensely felt. Like, I don't know, I feel like my heart is on fire a lot, but it has been for a long time. But it's just, maybe it's when there's not so much, when the mind can't go for refuge in all kind of ideas and concepts and stuff, and it's just, you know, right on, it's you know, open like that. It's like you feel everything more, maybe, I don't know.
I don't know, maybe. Not necessarily. A lot of people who are psychologically unwell feel very strongly also, you know. Or just anyone who's sensitive or whatever, you know, feel things. I feel things as well, you know.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm not a total brick, you know.
Yeah. And I guess, anyways, it is what it is, you know. If it's heartbreaking, if it's like, if depression happens, what, or, you know, and it keeps changing too, you know. It's like,
This moment can only be as it is. If it's a heartbreak in this moment, that's what is. If there's depression in this moment, that's what is. This moment, right? This moment now, this moment, this very moment, not that there's a moment, there's nothing, but this, you could just metaphorically, this moment, can it be any different than it is right now?
no.
So then which moment can be different than it is?
Yeah,
Another,
yeah.
another moment. So if there's a moment of a heartbreak, can it be any different than it is? So then the only one that thinks it should be different is ego, the arguer. You've heard me say on intensives. The arguer with what is ego says this moment should be different than it is because I don't like it. But the truth is, no moment can be different than it is. It is. And only the interloper of ego thinks something different. Well, when that arguer is gone, then there's just the flow of life, up and down, pleasure and pain. What is.
Yeah.
The expectation or hope or desire to attain some condition when everything is always pure bliss is.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's just a fantasy.
That's a fantasy. That's why the Bible says the peace that passes understanding is not the state of bliss or something. The peace that passes understanding is the end of the arguer with what is. Mm-hmm. Life flows.
Yeah. 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 Thank you, Sal. That's great. Thanks.
Nice to see you, Susan.
Yeah. Nice to see you too. There is one more thing. Could I say one more thing?
Of course.
Yeah. You know, like, yeah, nothing is hidden, right? And it is just like, you know, you hear the immediacy of what happens is just, you know, it is what it is, right? And yeah, there's nothing hidden at all, right?
I don't know what you mean exactly, hidden.
Yeah, like, this is it. The life, just as it is it.
Yeah, that's all there is. What is it?
Yeah, exactly. But so in a way, you know, we also call it the mystery. It's a mystery how this comes about and stuff. But in a way, it's not a mystery because it's just this.
To whom is it a mystery?
Yeah, it's again the person or the mind. Yeah.
This is not a mystery. This is fully known, fully obvious, not deep, not hidden.
No.
Blown wide open, obvious being I am.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's not a mystery at all, you know, in a way.
And then again, there's nothing wrong with that either. I don't denigrate anything. If you, the mind will have mysteries, fine. That's all, but it's all the mind and nothing wrong, but that's not where I'm pointing. I'm pointing somewhere else for the purpose of coming to rest in your life, coming to know freedom. Not to deny the mind and not to not use the mind. I don't mean that. To know that about you, which is already free of mystery, free of meaning, free of the need to know how and why. Free, who are you free of all of that? I want you to know that. That's what I'm pointing to. And then, okay, carry on as you are, no problem.
Right, because just as I am is it. Yeah, it's nothing.
Just as
Yeah.
you are in this moment is it. Exactly.
Yeah.
So I don't deny anything, not at all.
Right.
Thanks, Susan.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay. Hi, Lisa. Lisa, I have to find you now again. Oh, there you are. Hi, Lisa. How are you?
Hi, Sal. I'm fine, thank you. And thank you for having this meeting.
You're most welcome. Thank you.
I'm new. Hi, everyone.
Yeah.
So with Susan, what she was saying, like, and you were saying like the arguer.
Mm-hmm.
So like, I have the same thing, kind of like what Susan was saying, was I think it's the arguer that comes in and wants to say, okay, well then all of this is meaningless. You know, it's kind of like in a way that it seems to be arguing with settling into the I am
Mm-hmm.
and kind of using language. So is language what the so the arguer is kind of using language to sort of
Yeah.
say, frame this in another way,
Mm-hmm.
that's still the mind working
Mm-hmm.
and it sort of keeps you from feeling the I am or being in the I am.
Yeah, because thoughts are not necessarily ego, because thoughts just pass by, they appear by themselves, But when ego is the belief that that's me, that it's I who have these thoughts. It's I who are creating the thoughts, I who believe the thoughts, I who have a choice over the thoughts, I who needs to get to the bottom of these thoughts. That's ego. Thoughts in and of themselves are just a very mechanical response to the experiences of life. Something happens and then mind comments and says something.
Yes.
All of the thoughts in your head weren't there when you came out of the womb. They came because of experiences, culture, religion, experiences, mind. So that in and of itself is not ego. Ego says that's who I am. I am the content of my mind. I am, my beliefs and my opinions and my preferences and my background and my history and my traumas and my hopes. That's ego. You see? And then the arguer is one that says there's something wrong with this moment now, and this moment should be other than it is, because there's a lot of ideas that you hear about something called enlightenment. And this is just to have one example, there's a million. I've heard of something called enlightenment. There's something that's gone in your brain, which you didn't know of until it went in your brain from a book or something called enlightenment, which is a permanent state of bliss. And then the arguer says, I want that, and this moment sucks. So I have to seek. That's arguing with what is. That's ego.
So the arguer is the ego, but it's kind of also that activity of
Ego is only an activity, there's no ego. Ego is just a movement of belief that I am, and that I have a problem, and that I have to seek and get something. I. It's a movement. It's not solid. There's no ego, so nothing needs to be killed. Nothing needs to be transcended. Nothing wrong. Even ego appears. There's ego here also. If you look at me, you see me speaking, I say I'm Salvadore. I'm a musician. I have my political beliefs. It looks like there's ego here. But in truth, that's just a movement, and I know something's far greater than just that movement,
Mm-hmm.
So I don't talk about killing some ego or something like that. No.
Right.
See,
Mm-hmm.
if you talk about killing the ego, then you're giving ego a lot of life, that an existence that it doesn't actually have. There's something that has to be killed. But when you know what's true, you see there's just a movement. It's nothing, not a thing. Then you realize I don't have to kill anything, because everything's fine. Let it flow, man. Let it rip.
Can you say if there is some kind of early detection that ego is kind of there coming?
No,
Um,
no, I don't like to think like that. When you notice, and there's nothing wrong with it, again, when you notice that movement and that you're engaged with that movement and that attention has been contracted in that movement,
okay.
when you notice it, you can't do anything about it. It happens by itself. You notice in the noticing itself, oh, is a holiday. That's all. I'm not trying to prevent the appearance of ego. So you have to be vigilant and catch it early, because guess what? Who's the one who's going to be vigilant and catch it early? Ego.
Mhm.
Then you have two egos, the bad ego, and then the good policeman ego, who's going to catch the bad criminal ego,
Yeah, it's like the war of concepts starts. That's helpful. Thank you.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
We're schizophrenic in there, I got to fix myself. That's two of you. I have to fix myself. I have to pay attention to make sure that the other eye doesn't, I'll be over here. And no, I'm glad you brought that up, because it's good to see that, this idea of being vigilant, it's only the ego being vigilant. With being the witness, I got to be the witness of my mind. It's right there. I have to be the witness of my mind. So there's no witness. That idea, be the witness, is ego. Again, nothing wrong. I don't denigrate anything. Just see what it is. Know what's true, and truth will set you free, says the Bible. It doesn't say demonize the ego, and demonizing the ego is going to set you free, or transcend or kill. It says just know what's true. That's all. And so we need to speak to people like this about this, because then we all do. I did too. We need help to see things that because we have a lot of ideas, and we get myopic in those ideas, Not me, of course, but everyone else,
I remember a lot of it happening in the sanghas that I've been, like these. It's just.
Hold on, Francis. I'm sorry, Francis. Can I just unhand you for a second while I talk to Govi? Because I want to put Govi in the middle so I can. Thanks, Francis. Where's Govi again? No, hold on, Govi. You really ran away. Oh, there you are. Hey, Govi. Say again. You have to unmute yourself again, brother.
Okay. Yeah, just brought up so much memory of the sanghas that I've been with these ideas to improve constantly.
Yeah.
And these slogans that just seem to be in every sangha that I have been with. So
Yeah.
it kind of just made it like so clear, like there's nothing like that in me anymore.
I know that, Govi. I know.
Yeah, it's just wonderful.
That's great.
So,
Good. Exactly. That's great.
Sir.
Thank you, brother. If I had to fix myself, everything, oh my God, I'd be in big trouble. I'm kidding. I'm completely pure. I'm like a saint. like Mr. Rogers. Hi, Robert. Oh, Robert, actually, Frances had her hand up first, so let me get to Frances. Can I unhand you for a minute? I'll unhand you, Robert. You can come next. Hey, Frances, where are you again? Can you?
Hi, yeah.
Let me find you,
Sam.
Frances. Hold on a second, dear. Hold on, Frances. There you are. Hi.
Hiya. Hi, Sam. Nice, good to see you too, because it's been a few weeks, quite a few weeks. It's good. I feel a bit, I'm being a bit unplugged
Okay.
in. But I found it really helpful, Susan's exploration with you and the other lady. I'm a bit stuck on it, so I'm repeating it a bit. I mean, it's really clear what you say about the, that it's the mind commentary, the mental commentary isn't freedom, but there's this thing that still gets stuck.
Since
Hold on a second. Hold on. Someone else's microphone just came on. Hold on. Okay, go ahead, Frances. Someone else's mic came on.
I don't think I'm saying anything new to what anyone else is saying, but it's just my need. It's something about having to feel worthy in the world, and the mind really is. I can still hear it too.
I got my eye. Hey, Tom, be careful because your microphone keeps coming on. Go ahead, Frances.
It's something about feeling worthy, not feeling worthy.
Yeah.
Not this thing. That's what I've suddenly got. That's why I pressed the button. This thing about worthiness. What makes us feel worthy, and we can, exist. And I think Susan was exploring it really well. So, but yeah, just if I'm just floating and not doing something worthy in the world, that then people recognise that it's worthy. So it's like I just realised that was where I was a bit hooked in, and that can mean, for me, that means producing something that, I look at other artists and they're producing all this stuff, and I'm not doing anything, and I'm floating around and just.
What's the best thing? Wait a second. Wait a second. What's the best thing you can do for the world? What's the most worthy thing? Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah. What's the most
when
worthy
I
thing
see
you can do?
it's very clear. When I hear you, it's very clear, and how.
Yeah.
And that,
what more worthiness can you do than that?
It's just the mind commentary, isn't it?
Yeah, I understand.
On its
I understand.
comparison, it's comparing mind. Yeah.
Yeah, of course.
So say that. Would you ask me that question again? Just sorry, I interrupted it.
No, that was the same. You got it. What more?
Yeah.
What more worthy can anyone do but be free?
Yeah.
What more can you offer the world than your own freedom? What more than that?
And the freedom
What's the opposite of what? Sorry?
The freedom isn't attached to the mental configuration. It's not attached to the thoughts. The freedom is something pure outside of that. So that's
Yes, but even within that freedom, it doesn't mean you can't do a lot. Like I said before, it seems like I'm doing a lot, but it's not because I'm trying to be worthy or do something for the world or something. I do what is in front of me, what appears in this mind to do. A book is coming, and an album is coming, and a house is coming. Intensive. I don't know why, but that could all stop, And there's been periods of my life in the last 17, 18 years that I did nothing for long periods, nothing. And that's, to me, fine as well. It just seems that in the last several years, there's been a lot of things happening, but that can end. That's the problem.
Yeah.
So you're an artist, so, do what you enjoy to do.
I have to make money too, so I get.
Oh yeah, that's a worthy. I do need money. Money is definitely that's an honest need. We need money. There's nothing wrong with money. So yeah, we need to make money, of course.
Yeah.
Of course, we need to make money. We don't need to be rich and be greedy, but we need to have money. It's good to have money to have a decent life. Why not? Of course.
So it's just accepting that at the moment that's how it is, I think. Well, I think, I think that that's how it is at the moment,
Yeah.
And just that's meeting what's happening, I guess. Like you're talking about just going with the flow, it's just how it is.
Yeah.
So that's how I can come to terms with it and not fight the reality with my mind.
Yeah, and as you know too, because you're not the doer of anything, so you can't
Mm.
force something. There's no one there to force anything. You can't force, but if some intention to act comes, I need to make money. If that need is there, then some idea maybe will come to fulfill that need, and that's all. That's the functioning of the mind, and that's perfectly right. You know.
Yeah, it's doing quite well for me at the moment. I've got a job.
Oh, good.
The mind is functioning well. I managed to manifest a job which will keep me
Oh,
going for a
good.
little while. Yeah.
Excellent. Good. Great.
Anyway,
Thanks, Francis.
thanks a lot, Sam. Great.
Nice.
Lovely.
Ian wrote me that you guys are going to speak about having a meeting in England soon.
Yeah, that's right. He's enthusiastic to get the Lion Den to get a Lion Den thing happening.
That'd be cool. Great.
Rather than wait on somebody else, he suddenly said, like, we should do it.
That's
so we're
great.
like manifesting, well, where can we get people to sleep? 2-3 people in his house, and I've got like a cave, maybe a few in the cave, and
Excellent.
we're not really
That
a cave, but I've got
sounds
a
like
bed
fun.
set,
Great. Excellent.
because
Great,
we're going to see if
Francis.
anyone wants to come and do it.
Yeah. Yeah. Cool.
We're in
Excellent.
Brighton. We're in Brighton, everybody.
Okay. Great, Francis. Thank you, dear. Robert, you were next. Where are you? There you go. Hi, Robert.
Sal, nice to see you again.
Nice to see you, Robert.
Yeah, when you mentioned just a little while ago that you were a real saint, I just couldn't pass up saying hello to
I
you.
said what?
That you're a real saint.
Oh, that's true, obviously, isn't it?
So I
I'm
couldn't
like
pass
Mr.
up the
Rogers.
opportunity to say hello. And,
Nice to see.
again.
We saw Bindu and I watched Mr. Rogers movie with Tom Hanks. Ah, that guy's a beauty. Come
What a
on.
compliment. Yeah, right. That's one.
Anyone that doesn't like him, I have to question him.
This part's missing words. I put my ego on, but thank you for the very powerful tool you've given me to live my life, touching everything all the time. I'm struggling with an issue that wants to jump into the future. I'm going, that's not ego. I'm robbing myself of this absolute moment right now.
That's
So
great. That
it's
sounds
really
good.
helping.
You're welcome.
So
Thank you.
thank you.
Thank
Okay.
you. Thanks, Robert.
You are.
Hi, Susan. Can you put your video on?
Yeah, okay, it's on. So, because you mentioned some from the Bible, and then also, you reap what you sow. That saying, right? And so that's all like cause and effect and karma and such. And so somewhere I'm thinking why there's so much about mind purification in a lot of religions is because in the world of appearance, it's like it does work, that somehow with a pure mind or whatever, a mind, you can purify, and then whatever the energy that comes out as the appearance will also be different. You know what I'm saying? I mean, you
Yes.
think they'll do something about it, since it's in almost all religions, or the morality and all that. Is there nothing, no truth to that at all? I know there is. Mhm.
Of course, there's truth to it. But if you want to purify the mind, don't purify the mind. Come to know that which is pure, empty mind. And then perhaps things get purified, but not by getting in there and condemning and fixing, but by being free, living freedom. Then, maybe things get resolved, But of course, if a movement, what you reap, what you sow, if you sow because of a need or a greed or something that appears in your mind, if you act out of a need or a greed, then you get what in return, what you've, and of course that's how it works. But then, religion is ignorant, so they create morality and ethics and what you should and shouldn't do. But I don't go for that. As you know, I say, see that which about you, which is already pure, perfectly moral yourself, that which doesn't need anything, or freedom, or greed, or anything like that.
Yeah.
Which is already whole and complete.
Right. Do you say that's a purification in itself, to just be that wide open space?
It's already pure. It's not purification. It's pure. It's already pure. But living more and more like that, perhaps it does resolve things of mind as well. Because more and more you live this, and more from freedom, you see when you do something not so good or kosher, you see it. And then because you want freedom, maybe that resolves, you know what I mean? I don't like to make any absolutes.
Yeah. And yeah, it's just confusing sometimes when everything is so immediate. There's no past and future, and it's just bam, immediate. And then, the whole, cause and effect, or that whole thing, it seems like they don't fit, they don't match, but somewhere, in the appearance, it really does seem like there is cause and effect,
Yes, in mind, there's cause and effect, of course. In mind, there's also the Big Bang. But in truth, there is no such thing as the Big Bang. This is it right now. But in mind, something happened, whatever it was, 14 billion years ago or something. Where did that happen? In mind.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Obviously, where is it now? So mind equals time, and time equals cause and effect. And fine, at the level of mind, fine, everything's accepted. But in the essential truth that's free, none of that applies. And so this about yourself more and more, and you come to rest more and more. And then the play of mind, the play of Leela is fine. Nothing wrong with any of it.
Right, because that you cannot be a human being without a mind. It's like, or the appearance of a human being, mind comes together. It's one and the same.
Yeah, well, a human being is mind also, because the human being itself is ephemeral. There's no solid human being. There's nothing solid here. It's just pure ephemerality, just like thought. It's just a little more slower movement than a thought, But even that is ephemeral. So there's no human being in ultimate truth,
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And that's all, like, also energy, it's said that that's all energy. Yeah, but how that energy works, who knows? Yeah.
So I talk about coming full circle. It's not just being awareness or something like that. That's not my work at all. We come to recognize that essential aspect of ourselves, but then full circle is, this is it. I'm appearing now as Sal in this moment only. There's no Sal before or after this moment. There's only this moment appearance. This moment appearance, Sal appearing now, this moment. And he put a name on it, Sal, put a name on it. So I don't deny that. That's embracing fully the humanity of it all. But we know that the humanity is the ephemeral aspect of the absolute aspect. It's all one movement,
Yeah.
The human is the movement, the knowing is the non-movement, but it's all the same. It's all part of the one. Like the wave is the wave is the movement of ocean. It's not separate from ocean. It is ocean. It's the movement of ocean. Ocean itself is the still, and wave is the movement aspect of the same ocean. There's one only. This body-mind organism is the movement aspect of the stillness of the absolute in movement. You see, there's no separation. That's full circle. That's why I don't deny the body-mind. I don't deny human life at all. So maybe that's good for today. Thank you very much, everyone. Really nice to see everyone. Everyone's great. Very happy. Thank you, everyone. See you in 2 weeks.